Okay, we're back here on the show, and we're here with Tom Vassos, and Tom is a university professor, and you wrote this book, right? Which is Destination Innovation, Tom, and great to have you here on the show. And and let's talk about this because it's creating mobile marketing and commerce strategies. And I know
it's creating hype. I'm very excited about it.
And she was making fun of me because I don't have a QR code yet or anything like that. But it just seems there's so much, always new technology, it's hard to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you did that to write this book. But
it's amazing because the world's changing so quickly with everyone getting on board with it. 5 billion phones in the world, 6 billion accounts. By 2014, there's going to be more people mobile connected to the internet than the more traditional methods. Saw an interesting stat from the United Nations. In India, more people have access to phones than toilets. So, I mean, it's amazing how pervasive the technology is becoming. 25 years ago, half the world's population didn't even make a single phone call, and now 86% of the planet has access to this technology. So it's really changing the world.
Yeah.
Globalizing the market.
Well, it's more than a phone now too. I mean, with the computing power that's always increasing, like these phones are going to be able to, well, we're already seeing it, right? With tablets and that sort of iPhones, that's much more than a phone.
Absolutely.
What do you see the future progressing to? Let's say, give it a 5-year, outlook as far as the mobile phone industry.
Well, if you think about it, as you said, it started just as this communication device. Let's talk to other people. But secondly, now it's becoming this social portal. It's the portal into my entire social network of talking to my friends on Facebook or Twitter, or them knowing my location that I just located at a certain restaurant or whatever. So that's becoming part of it. Then there's just the information part of it. I mean, the world's information is now at our fingertips, so we can solve any problem or solve any argument or have any piece of information from weather to sports to the latest piece of news.
Less censored.
Exactly. But the big piece that's coming now is the whole commerce and transaction side, because that's the informational side. But now conducting transaction and buying things and ordering things and picking them up at a store. And so it's integrating into the fabric of commerce, which then all of a sudden it's of interest to companies and retailers. Exactly. So now we're looking at how we can use it to make money.
So let's kind of explore that a little bit for people that are watching that are in business, maybe they're self-employed or they're running a small business or even a large business. What are some of the things that you can do with mobile commerce that maybe they're not even aware of that they could do?
Oh, just amazing things. I mean, one of the things that retailers fret about is something called showrooming, is people walking into a retail store, scanning the barcode, and instantly getting 100 other prices either from nearby stores or off of Amazon.com. And this is a tough thing for retailers to manage.
That's what I'm thinking. As a business owner, that's giving me a headache already.
Absolutely. So now those business owners have to figure out how are they going to engage in that conversation and provide value and provide an instant coupon when you walk through their door, or a QR code that scans something, which is a video, preemptive, because customers are already doing this. And so, I mean, it's scary that all of a sudden I have that instant access to this 100 other prices. I mean, that does a lot for the price knowledge in the marketplace, and therefore putting a lot of downward pricing pressures on retailers and companies.
And potentially having a negative impact on the little guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are just learning these things about moving through the sales cycle to be better informed, looking up product reviews and better information about, gee, is that product really any good? Because they're more likely to trust someone else rather than the brand owner. And so now there's this whole environment of communications and discussions on social media that people are getting engaged in to make much better informed decisions.
So maybe I'm hoping you can find another example, because that example is scaring the living daylights out of small business people, right? But is there, can you give an example of a way that a small business can use this technology to get a competitive advantage on the big guy, for example?
So you can now transform the customer service journey with your customers to propel yourself above those competitors, because this isn't just about commerce, this is about customer service levels. So imagine an example of someone like Krispy Kreme that you can sign up for this service, that as soon as those fresh donuts come off the line and the bell rings on the equipment to tell people in the store to come and grab the next tray, imagine anyone within a 15-block radius getting that same notice on their smartphone, which is an actual app, to say, oh, guess what? We got the fresh batch right off the tray, and all of a sudden people flocking in to see it.
Because you do need to have them fresh.
Exactly.
I've never had the opportunity yet to have those Krispy Kreme donuts fresh, but I'm looking forward to it one day.
Exactly. But that's just one customer service example, because it's the power of the smartphone. So it's not just that it's connected, but there's a whole bunch of what we call mobile sensors in this thing that are sensing my GPS location in the world. They're sensing the speed of this phone and where it's moving from where to where and how quickly.
And you can infer a lot of information
Exactly.
just from that.
Past history, as far as what you like, your Google searches, everything. It's basically picking all of that up, and now it's firing off to you, where
Right.
Krispy Kreme is.
Yeah, so if you think about all of those sensory inputs, I mean, it's introducing entirely new business model and levels of customer service. Give you a simple example. So you've rented a phone from Enterprise Car Rental, and guess what? Now, when your flight arrives into Toronto, along with you and your phone, hey, welcome to Toronto. We've already checked you in. You've just bypassed the lineup. Your car is in spot 420, and have a great day. Now, all of a sudden, that raises the level of customer service that says, wow, that's the kind of company I want to do business with. So everything from that to ordering my submarine sandwich before I go in and eliminating that lineup and paying for it. And now I'm picking up the submarine sandwich rather than the 6-minute lineup to have it made, the 2-minute lineup to get it, to pay for it. Now I can do it all on the smartphone.
Okay, so now you're a university professor and you teach in the business context. And I know you just came back from China, where I guess you were you teaching over there as well?
Yes.
And so let's talk about Canada in terms of mobile marketing relative to some of the other places in the world. Because we were just like the QR codes. I heard they were much bigger in the Far East before they were, and there's still, I guess, a bit of a lag here in Canada about people using them.
Sure. So Europe, for example, is quite further ahead than many other regions in the world. So they've been doing a lot on smartphones, commerce transactions, etc. Japan's very far ahead. For those that don't know what a QR code, it's a quick response code, and it happens to be this little symbol that looks like
Yeah,
and then you can demonstrate.
Sure, exactly. So what happens is a QR code can do just about anything you want to do on a smartphone. So you simply load your QR code software, your app, then you simply scan the QR code that you want to get some information from, and then you simply initiate whatever it was that QR code is doing. And in this case, it happens to be a video of the book author saying, oh, hey, thanks for picking up my book, and let me tell you a little bit more about the book and why you might want to take a look at it and read it and things like that. And so that's just one example.
So that's just to what that means to me is that little symbol that's here, no bigger than an inch square, can lead to any kind of online video or any kind of, it could lead to hundreds of pages of online content if you want. So it's a great way to deliver information.
It can transfer my business card information to you. It could automatically generate a tweet onto Twitter. It can automatically do various things like that. Like you said, watch a video on YouTube. And it's transforming the way we interact with companies. And so in the example of the book, there's actually 125 of them in the book, because instead of me trying to explain something in 4 pages, let me just show you this 1-minute video on augmented reality.
In other words, there's a lot of value here, right, Tom? Like the book's this thick, but there's videos, hundreds of pages of content.
Exactly. So because imagine me explaining augmented reality in 4 pages worth versus, hey, just watch this 1-minute video, and it comes to life. Wow. Much better than what I could explain. I'll give you another example.
That sounds like a good topic right there. Augmented reality.
Exactly. But before we get off the QR code example, in Tokyo, there's a building called the N building. They have an entire QR code on the side of the entire building. So as you walk by, you scan it, and you see which vendors are inside the building to determine, oh, should I go in? Is it a shoe store? Is it a clothing, whatever? And you even see the tweets from inside the building, oh, 10% off shoes today. You really should come in, you know? And so it's this interaction, it's this social media, it's this power of the information that we can get. It's amazing.
So that, you know, that's telling me that they're still way ahead of us over there in terms of QR codes.
They are in that area.
And can I ask you just for, I don't know if you have the stat in your head, but you know, I'm just curious, say what the percentage of the population in Japan that is able to scan and use QR codes versus the percentage in Canada, because I know I'm not one of those people currently anyway.
As a general rule of thumb, both in Europe and advanced countries like Japan, I would say it's roughly triple what it is here.
Yeah, okay.
But we've got a pretty fast growth rate on some of this stuff too.
Well, also that tells me there's an opportunity here for the businesses that are seeing this right now, that they can get in and get a leg up on.
Even for plane tickets, even for theater tickets, it's all being used right now. We just haven't been able to take it that much, further.
Absolutely. So it's not just about link to video, but once again, Air Canada getting their ticket, you getting a QR code, checking in now, and so it's speeding up the check-in process and things like that.
Using it just to make contact. Oh, you want my information right now instead of a business card. It's exactly the same thing.
Absolutely.
So now,
so you like augmented reality?
I like augmented reality. Yeah. What does that mean?
Augmented reality is like literally an entire new world. So once again, we know the position of the phone by GPS. There's a compass built in, so we know which way it's pointing. The software can recognize things, and so I'll give you an example of an augmented reality application. Is a real estate app. So that I, as a realtor, I'm standing on the corner of Yonge and Bloor, I hold my phone up, I start going around like this, and all of a sudden on the phone, oh, house for sale, apartment for rent. Oh, let me look at that one, I want to see. Okay, click on that. All of a sudden, oh, it's 3 bedrooms, it's $2,500 a month.
Will it even do a panoramic
It'll do a panoramic
yes.
virtual 3D tour. Yes. So now it's a full augmented reality experience, augmenting what's in the real world.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, is it coming? It sounds like you can see into the future, Tom. Are we going to have glasses that we can wear, and then we're just live in augmented reality all the time?
Chapter 14. Chapter 14. Yes, Google already has a project called Google Glass that is literally a pair of glasses with a small display screen that you can actually, as you're moving through the real world, bring up information, see a review of that restaurant you're just walking by, show you that your friend has just sent you a text message that you can read, and then say, oh, call that friend, and all of a sudden you're talking to the friend. So it's kind of tied to the augmented reality concept. So there's not only glasses like that, there's even watches that are like your Dick Tracy watch. Or
maybe, you know where I see this going, Tom? Oh, no. Ultimately, it'll be just like that Star Trek episode with the brains. In the
jars.
700 Quatloos that the newcomers will have to be destroyed.
Exactly. That's where we're headed.
Is that where we're going?
Watch
really?
At least one of Tom Cruise's movie, and you'll kind of know the direction we're going.
Okay. Can I be Miranda's real thrall?
Oh, please. We'll just change that. There's a lot you can do as far as that goes.
Okay. All right. So
virtually.
Now, so this book, really, for people that are watching, who's it really, like, who would really benefit from reading this book?
The prime audience is people that are in business that want to understand how to capitalize on this whole new environment. So it really takes people through this 4-step process to say, look, first understand your business and client needs. What do the clients want? Because every business is different.
So that's just a good basic business.
Exactly. Let's look at what our customers need, and let's look at some examples of how this can reduce your lineups or impact showrooming and overcome that restriction. So that's step one.
It's written in people's English, though.
Absolutely,
you don't need to be a techie duty person or anything like
exactly.
that.
So let's look at what the business needs are. I give you some examples, but every business is different, so you decide what direction to take. Secondly, let's look at the technology now, because each of these technologies, GPS, RFID, wireless, accelerometer, might open up a whole new business opportunity. So I show them the technology. Third is to get people to consider, are you going to just tweak your marketing a little bit? Is this a campaign? Is this improving your customer service? Or is this an entirely new business model? I'll give you a simple example there. Tesco a Home Plus grocery chain in Korea, trying to figure out how to surpass the #1 grocery chain. Well, they created stores in subway stations, but it wasn't real products, it was just backlit posters of the products.
I heard about this one.
Exactly. And as you're waiting for the subway, you scan the QR code, the milk, the bread, and the eggs.
Yeah.
You complete the transaction, and when you get home that night, guess what? Your groceries are delivered.
Yeah, that's
So
amazing.
It's a beautiful.
That is a whole new.
it's an entirely new business model. So I get people to consider the range just from a campaign to customer service to improving your operations, like your employees using this stuff, right through to business model transformation.
Wow.
And then the final level, the fourth level, is what are the actual tactics to do branding, marketing, commerce, and support. And so I've got these neat top 10 lists of the top 10 lists of how to do branding, the top 10 lists of how to do commerce, the top 10 list of how to support your customers better. On the support side, so imagine getting your IKEA shelving unit and scanning something that instantly shows you a 20-minute video of someone actually putting it together.
Which is way better than
In
reading
English.
In English, exactly. And so it's improving the customer service. It's doing the commerce transaction. So everything from a traditional credit card transaction to, a lot of people are leery about credit card transactions both online and on phones, but hey, what if I could just charge my phone bill, no credit card, and then next time I get my Rogers or Bell bill, oh, and you spent that extra $10 on that item. So it's commerce. It's Square. A company called Square has a payment processing system, a little square device you plug into the top of the phone. It becomes a total credit card transaction processing system.
And it's completely secure.
Secure, and people can do the transaction. I scan the credit card, and then I hand it to you and say, okay, just sign right on the screen there. And by the way, let me know if you want your electronic receipt to your text or to your email, fully paperless, right?
And that's in the book?
It's in the book too.
So, wow.
I just have one last question.
Yes.
As far as measurable ROI, and this is what most businesses want to know. They want to know if I'm going to invest the money in the technology and everything like that.
Absolutely.
How do I gain and how do I know
Absolutely.
what my ROI
So
is
throughout the
going to be?
book, it talks about ROI, it talks about analytics,
Good.
because you can measure so many things from this.
Okay.
The click-through rate, the
Yeah.
number of likes you had to get social media engagement, the number of transactions that got initiated as a result of it,
Yes.
the number of check-ins to see how many times they visited your store. So there's just this myriad of things you can measure that for a marketing person, it's wow, I could do that. Now I can measure it right down to which QR code in which magazine ad in which publication generated the sales, and you can do it right down to that level by campaign, by brand, by channel. So it's some pretty amazing
So
statistics.
that's
you
just
can get
beautiful
out of
as far as the investor goes, because that's the hardest thing that is generally an objective that they need,
Well, I'll tell you, I'm totally sold on this book, and I think it for anybody that's in business, that's thinking about the future, or even just surviving the present, and I mean, it sounds like an absolute must,
Thank you.
especially in Canada.
Thank you.
I'm intrigued.
So,
Good
Tom,
luck to Canadian businesses that are going to use this kind of information to propel themselves into this whole new paradigm
and there's whole
of
new
mobile,
businesses,
right?
Yeah, and there's whole new businesses that people will come up with as a result. Now, how can people get their hands on the book? Is there a website?
Amazon.com and also destinationinnovation.com is probably a great place to
Just
go.
even
as
the
well.
title of the book.com.
Exactly.
You can order.
Okay, Tom,
Well,
that's
thank you
great.
for bringing this technology to Canada
Yes.
and to enable us here in Canada to take a look.
And
to,
also, if they wanted to just get some free content out of the book, my blog at tomvassos.wordpress.org has a bunch of information that's just freely available that people can access as well.
wonderful.
Okay,
And we'll put that
fantastic.
up on the credits at the end.
Yes, we will. Okay, Tom, this is
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks for writing
Thanks
the
for-
book, and
It
thanks for
Very
coming in
much
today.
a pleasure,
It was
sir.
really great chatting with you.
Okay, so we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to come back with the next guest as Liquid Lunch continues.
At PBN.
Yes. We'll be right back.